question, as we've heard from kay Sir Alvin na lang. Siya yung importante dito, so siya yung mag-mind.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, so we've heard from the excerpts that were read out loud, the book handles a lot of very challenging and difficult topics: desire, the human body, how to make your way in the world while feeling all of those things. So I'd like to ask, is there a particular scene or chapter that was especially challenging or particularly personal for you to write?
The entire thing is very personal. Kasi when after you read the novel, I hope your how you look at me won't change. Because again, it's about transactional relationships. The scenes that you will read in that novel did not come from personal experience. They are figments of my imagination.
Talaga lang.
They're figments of my imagination. You know how I think as a creative person. You've seen my films. So you're now going to read one of my novels. So medyo siya. So I hope hindi mo babago yung tingin niyo sa akin. So yun, because the entire thing really is very challenging, because how do you actually go into the psyche of four people feeling something for each other at the same level of intensity they feel for each other. So parang grabe yun, no? Paano ko yung pull off bilang isang writer. So, pero yun na lang. But at the same time, I wrote this novel after I wrote a historical novel. Because my first novel, which the title is Ang Sarili ng Mga Mata, is a historical novel. It's set in Bicol. It's very difficult to write because the research behind it is just so mind-boggling. So after writing that historical novel, I decided to write something more contemporary, something more set in the urban here in Manila. So I thought it's going to be easy for me to write about my experience here in Manila or about Manila. Pero hindi pala. You can actually also consider the novel as my ode to Manila, because we'd always read about Manila in very negative ways. Usok, ingay, pollution. But here I wanted to present a different face of Manila that we all love, that defines actually how we relate with each other, how we actually build our relationships with each other here in the metro. And that's very difficult also to pull off. So I hope you appreciate it. So yun talaga, lahat, walang ang daming sex scene dyan. So, pero, alalahanin nyo na lang na single po ako. So again, it's all based on my imagination.
Ayan, thank you for that. No, very well noted po. Alright, so actually you mentioned earlier during your speech that you are practicing in two different art forms, which is writing and filmmaking. So in creating your novels, especially this one, which is very vivid, very sensory rich, did your background in filmmaking influence that, or did it impact your writing style?
Okay. Another trivia for all of us, for those who love Ang Siyaw ng Dalawang Tuyang Paa. The original novel written in Philippine was published in the same year that Siyaw ng Dalawang Tuyang Paa premiered in Cinemalaya. So that's in 2011. So I actually realized just now when Almira and I are writing the press kit, that that year, those years, I was actually mulling over the same subject matter. It's about identity, it's about gender, it's about human relationships, and grabe, nagsabay pala. Ngayon ko lang na-realize na after writing Sabay, or while I was writing the script for Siyaw ng Dalawang Paa, I'm also writing Sabay ng Katawan. So why did I mention that? Ano naman yung tanong mo?
The filmmaking impact.
Yes. So because they really mutually reinforce each other. My writing and my filmmaking, they reinforce each other. How? Pero hindi rin eh. Kasi sometimes I really, as a creative person, I really make it a point to make the two separate. Kaya nga siguro hindi ko rin inibitahan yung dalawang friends to each other's events. Because for me, when you say cinema, it's the visual medium. It's images. You play with images. So image upon image upon image. But when you write a novel, I really take care to I really take care to develop develop the rhythm of the words on the page. So that's why I really appreciate Sir Simon and Miss Irma reading those two excerpts for us this afternoon, because again, you feel the words breathing on the page. It's the rhythm. So that's what I take care of when I write a novel. So it's not really about the images, but about the sound. So it's really two different creative acts. So yun, but how? Pero yun na nga, somehow when I wrote Sambay ng Katawan, it's the same subject matter that I tackled under Sierra Leone. So I guess yun. Sometimes the subject matter they spill from one genre that I'm doing to the next. So from in this case from the novel to film, or from film to novel. Pero yun na nga, but in terms of tackling the methodology, it's really very different.
Alright. That's
sorry, so serious.
But what it's really interesting to hear how you managed to work together. You've managed to put together two works in two very different, and as you mentioned, they're really distinct art forms. So what a wonderful way that you've managed to do that with a long and storied career in film, and now and of course in the book industry as well. So I'd like to open now the floor to questions. Yes, go.
Hi. First question. Since Filipino is a very beautiful language and then you translate it into English, how much of the beauty of the language is retained or maintained? Kasi iba ang bagsak at ritmo pag ang nobela mo ay nasa Pilipino. Mas maragsa, mas malibog, mas matindi. How much of it was maintained now that it's in a contemporary American English?
And this is where the genius of Randy Bustamante as a translator would come in, because when he translated this, I really didn't come into the picture. He translated it first on his own, and then after he finished the entire novel, he showed it to me, and then we discussed some of the portions in the novel. But all in all, I did not really change anything with the way he originally translated the piece. So, ayun. Sa pagkabasa naman kanina ni Miss Irma at ni Sir Simon, may rhythm naman, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So may indayog.
May indayog.
Mararamdaman mo yung hangin, mararamdaman mo yung dagat, yung paglipad ng ibon. Pero yun.
Second question, para yung iba naman. Would you ever do this into a film?
Alam mo, may nagtanong na rin sa akin yan, pero iba kasi when you read this novel, it's very introspective.
Mm-hmm.
So many things are happening in the page, but those things are happening at the back of in the minds of the characters. It's all reflections. It's all introspection. So I don't know how it will translate into cinema. Yun. Kasi yun, iniisip kasi dito, one of my inspirations for writing this novel is Milan Kundera's Unbearable Lights of Being.
Yes.
Diba? Yung kay Milan Kundera, when they translated into cinema, ang pangit. Yun, so sorry.
I read the book.
Pero I mean, hindi yung pangit pa rin sa difficult to translate a very introspective, a very philosophical novel into cinema. Kasi where would you extract the image from? It's all in the head. It's all in the mind. So yun. We'd also like to sell this novel as a novel of ideas. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to ask a question? Yes, please.
I would like to piggyback on her question earlier regarding you wearing or pursuing two creative roles. Now my question is, how is your storytelling different from writing a novel versus telling stories visually in film?
I feel more freedom in writing a novel. I'm sure my film friends here, my actors and actresses will feel the same way. Why? Because when you make a film, it's very collaborative. So many things are happening. You have the budget, you have the financial considerations, you have the weather. So many things have to come together for you to produce a good film. not even a perfect one. So yun. Yun lang siguro, yun lang nasagot ko siguro dun sa tanong. It's cinema really, I really feel it's a collaborative medium. But novel, I can run wild with whatever I want to say in the page because it's just me, and hopefully you'll be able to relate and resonate. But the things that I say in my novel will resonate with you as the reviewer.
So just a follow-up to that, you said you have more freedom, you can run wild. So what kind of satisfaction do you get out of having that kind of feeling of being free in writing novels?
Totoo yan. Thank you for that. Kasi possible to plug ito. That's why I love the reviews that I'm reading right now online. Yun, natutuwa ako kasi nagigets pala nila. Kasi iba-iba kasi sa cinema. When you play, when you screen a film, the reaction of the audience is very immediate. It's right there. It's very tactile. It's right beside you. Damang mo talaga kung irita sila o hindi. But with the novel, no way. You really just have to trust the reader that they will understand what you're trying to say on the page. So it's a different experience. Ganun lang siguro para walang valuation, walang judgment. It's really different even with the way the audience is trying to receive your work.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you. Do we have any other questions? Yes, go.
Since nabanggit nyo earlier na imagination lahat ng libro, paano yung process nyo nung pag-create ng characters sa novel?
Marami akong kaibigan nagkukwento sa akin. Ayun, I listen. Ganun din, no? Ganun din yata sa script writing, di ba? You listen to people, actors and all that. You listen to people around you. You become an observer. You really observe how people act around you and how they react to you. So that's how you come up with something to put in the page, to write about in the page. Ayun. Marami nagkukwento sa akin. At for some reason, lapitin ako ng mga nagkukwento ng mga ganitong kwento. Ayun. Siyempre, paano ako pa-inosente?
So I think my key takeaway from your answer is that if you have friends who are in creative industries, be very careful how you act around them. You might see yourself in a book, in a movie.
Yeah. Pero yun na nga, at the same time daw, it's very lucky for you to have a friend in the creative industry because you can be immortalized. Yeah.
Nice save. Alright, thank you. Do we have any other questions?
Last question.
Yes, of course.
On a personal level, sabi mo kanina you're single. Is there any someone from your not so distant past whose body have you ever worshipped and worthy to be part of another book?
Oo naman. Hindi.
Then reveal that.
I will never do that. Kahit pa ako kasi. But I leave clues in my work as to the name of those people.
That you have worshipped.
Oo, pati sa mga pelikula ko, sometimes I put their names.
So,
Dedicatory lang naman.
buy a copy and find out.
Thanks, Alvin.
Thank you. I think we have time for maybe one or two more questions. Any other last things that you'd like to... Yes, po.
I'm Joshua from ABS-CBN. Kumusta yung naging collaboration with Penguin?
Yun na nga. This is actually, I love Penguin so far. I love Almira so far. Because you know why? Because this is the first time, because I've been writing books for this already my second novel and my, how many books already? You know, my 7th or 6th book, including the textbooks that I wrote, academic books that I wrote. And this is the first time that I'm going to experience a book tour. So we're really going to go around the Philippines and Southeast Asia to promote this book. So this is the first. This is the first book launches in a series of book launches. So for example, next week we'll do another book talk in Fundación Sanso, and a week after that, UP pala, UP. So yun, first time ko ma-experience yun. Again, no shade to the other publishers. Kayo talaga pinapahamak nyo. Pero yun, maybe because they have the resources and because they have the network, the resources and the network to do this for Filipino authors. So they need also our support so that whatever they're trying to do, attempt to do in the local book industry, it's going to prosper. So, ayun. Kaya ako todo support ako kay Almira. Diba? Almira, go! So, yun.
Yung second question ko, nakailang revise or revisions?
Oh my God. Ang yabang ko dito. I wrote this in one go, pero the revisions, very minimal eh. I usually don't do major revisions in my work. So that's why it's so difficult to start. Because when you start, then you continue on until you finish the novel. Because again, it's about capturing the moment, it's about capturing the rhythm. How do you make it consistent from page 1 to page last? It's so difficult if you're going to, for example, write the first chapter and this month and then leave it for the next 2 months and then come back to it again to write the second chapter. It's so difficult to, again, to pick it up, the rhythm. So when I write a novel, I really stay with it until the very end, until I finish it. So, yun. Halimbawa yung siyang ba, I wrote it for just a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sequel ba?
After I've already gathered the points, and the writing itself. Of course, the play with the imagination, of course, is going to take a lot of days, weeks, months. Again, planning it in your head. But when it comes to the actual writing, I really go at it non-stop.
You wrote this for last year or this year? This book?
This book was published, the original Filipino was published in 2011, but the grant for it that I got from NCCA is in 2005. And then, ito, published din lang, itong English.
The English version.
So medyo ano na rin, no? 10 years? 10 years?
A
10
decade.
years. 20. 20 years.
Wow.
20.
So yan na nga, hopefully I can follow this up with something, with another one. So yan, I need your support again. Yeah.
Yes.
I need the energy.
Alright.
I need the love again to be inspired.
Well, noted. I think we have time for one last question. If there are any others. Any other questions? No? I think we are good. So,